Hey guys, Novaexplosion, and welcome to the PS2 tier list draft, whatever we're calling it. We're in 2024, and I thought to myself, yeah, I want to make this PS2 tier list. I did the PS1 one, it got really well received, I enjoyed making it, so I'm making the one for PS2. Now, a couple things to know is there are a couple of games here that aren't necessarily PS2, but I have a good explanation for them. Persona 3 and 4 are the newest versions are on PS2, but they were originally PS2 games, so I'm counting them for the sake of this list, because I'm never going to make a PSP list for portable, or I'm never going to make a Vita list for Golden, because I haven't played enough Vita games. Also, Symphonia was released on PS2 in Japan, so I count it. Is there any others? Grandia 2 is a PS2 port. So I kind of merged a couple of games that aren't, like, they have PS2 ports or aren't really PS2. Just to make this list more doable, basically. So, we have 19 games here, so we're gonna just go through it. And again, like with the PS1 list, I'll probably make more drafts, play more games. There's not PS2 games I'm going to play, but there are quite a few. I got some Wild Arms 4 music in the background. I'll probably end up changing it as we make it through the list. But, speaking of Wild Arms, let's start with Wild Arms 3. Now, I think I'm gonna slap this in S tier. I really love Wild Arms 3. I even got the Platinum Trophy in Wild Arms 3 recently, and I really enjoyed it. The story is really good. I really like the idea of Filgaia being a desolate land, and the Four Chosens have to, like, it's basic, it's nothing too special, but I think it's really well done. What I really love about the story in Wild Arms 3 is I love the idea of trying to bring life back to the planet. I also love the villains of Wild Arms 3. I think it has the best ensemble of villains, and each chapter feels like a mini story arc, and they're connected so well. Like, you start with Janus and his goons and grabbing, like, the shields of light, and then, like, Janus is, like, being manipulated by the prophets. The prophets are chapter 2. Chapter 3 with Siegfried's really good. It connects well with Wild Arms 1. And then the final chapter with Beatrice and the closing character arcs are really good. So I really like the story and how it's presented. I like the way there's, like, 4 different arcs, and they're kind of loosely connected to each other, and it all comes together so well with Beatrice in the end. Again, I'm loosely spoiling the games, light spoilers. Trust me, what I'm saying is nothing. I'm just talking about, like, loose spoilers, so still play the game yourself, it's great. The characters are also really good. It's got one of the best leads of all time. I really like Virginia as a lead. Jet, Clive, and Gallows are also really cool characters. I like their whole Drifter team. The gameplay of Wild Arms 3 is really fun. The medium system actually really grew on me. Like, I always liked the medium system, but as I was, like, doing the post game and doing the Platinum Trophy, I started to like it a lot more. I like the idea of giving mediums to your characters and giving the skills and stuff. The one thing I don't like is you lose them if you use it, so it makes the post game especially, like, hard to do. Like, if you use an item, you have to, like, grind for item drops. But other than that, I like the medium system in theory. It's really, really fun. The combat's nothing special, but I do like the idea that everyone uses arms. I really like that as a concept. And I like that they all have their strengths and weaknesses, like Clive's your heavy hitter, Virginia is your healer for Mystic, and Jet is your fastest. I really like their different roles, and Gallows is a mage. So combat was pretty fun, not for the core combat, but the roles of the characters I really enjoyed. And again, I got my Platinum Trophy. It took me, like, it was like a 60 to 70 hour playthrough, or it was like 60 hours to get my Platinum Trophy. So it was really fun. Wild Arms 3 was a game that it started off fine, like, good enough, but as I played more, it got better. So I really like Wild Arms 3. It's probably my number 2 Wild Arms game, maybe number 3. It's one of the best games I've ever played. I really enjoyed it. If it's not a top 10 game, it's a top 20 game, undoubtedly. Yeah, so next up, actually, wait, music. Forgot music. Music is phenomenal. Wild Arms 3 is great music. The music in Wild Arms is always really good. Anything else I forgot to talk about? Really, like, I mean, also one of the biggest negatives of Wild Arms 3 is moving the game on. The search system is annoying. Honestly, the search system is, like, the biggest problem with the game. That's, like, the biggest flaw. But other than that, the game is phenomenal. I enjoyed it. I love Wild Arms 3, and I hope more people get to play it. It's on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. They have a port from the PS2 version, so I'd recommend giving it a try. It's really fun. But yeah, Wild Arms 3 is fantastic. Final Fantasy X is easily an S tier. As for where to put it, I think I like Final Fantasy X more than I like Wild Arms 5. Wild Arms 3. So Final Fantasy X is a masterpiece. Was my favorite Final Fantasy for a while. Probably my number 2 now because I love Final Fantasy VII Remake. but this is one of the best games I've ever played. It's got one of the best storylines. Honestly, Tales of Berseria and Final Fantasy X have two of the best storylines in all of gaming. I am confident in saying that. Storyline alone, they are two of the best of all time. I really love the storyline. I love the world of Spira. It's one of the best. I love the concept of Unsent, Fireflies, the pilgrimage. There's so many, like, secrets in this game. Like, you play this game and you start learning more about the world so well, and the foreshadowing and the build-up is so good. Oh, dude, I'm dying because I really don't want to spoil Final Fantasy X. I'm not going to. Go play the game yourself. I know a lot of people have played it. This is a classic. I love the story in this game. I also love the characters. Tidus isn't like the best protagonist, but he serves his purpose well enough, and I like how the game uses him to kind of entice us into the world of Spira. I think it's really well done. Also, his relationship with Yuna is really well built, so he and Yuna together as a pair are one of my favorite couples of all time. So Tidus on his own is like fine. He's probably my least favorite of the cast. Well, no, actually second least favorite. But overall, I think he's fine. I think he gets way too much hate. Tidus isn't like the worst character in the world, and some of the things he does early in the game are justified, and the way he acts is kind of justified. Like, it makes perfect sense. So, like, Tidus he's a good character. He's not a great character, but I like him, and he gets way too much hate. The other characters are also really good too. I really like Auron. I like Yuna. Yuna's best girl. We'll get to 10-2 in a minute. I really love Yuna. I love Auron. Lulu and Waka are really cool. Riku's really good, and Kamari's just kind of there. He's my least favorite, but he's there to be awesome. I love the FF10 cast. I also love some of the side characters. And also, the villains of 10 are also pretty good. I really like some of the villains in the Concept of Sin. Concept of Sin is honestly my favorite. Dude, I can gush about this game all day. I actually can't gush about it too much because I would spoil most of it. Let's talk about the gameplay. The gameplay is really fun. It's not ATB, but that's fine because I really love the turn-based combat. I also love how the game encourages you to switch party members, and each character has like a different role and stuff. It's really good. So overall, Final Fantasy X's gameplay is really fun. Some fun bosses, some fun gimmicks. The music is really good. The areas are linear, but I love how the game opens up at the very end of the game. Minor spoiler alert, but again, not a big deal. Again, Final Fantasy X has a lot of stuff to find out as you play it, so play the game yourself and you'll kind of see what I mean. But Final Fantasy X is a phenomenal game. It's the best. It's one of the best Final Fantasy games. It's my second favorite because I love Final Fantasy VII Remake, but this is still one of my favorite games of all time. It's undoubtedly a top 10 game. I have to think about stuff because I played a lot of games. I don't know if it still would be in my top 5, but if it's not in my top 5, it's like right outside of it. It's like, it's a top 10 undoubtedly, along with 10-2, which we'll talk about in a minute or later on. I see 10-2 is farther in the list. But anything else to talk about Final Fantasy X? Honestly, I can't think of anything wrong with the game. Like, there's very little wrong with the game. It's just so good. So good. Yeah, Final Fantasy X is phenomenal. Also, the voice acting is pretty good. I know it's kind of, some people say it's cringy, but oh, I like the voice acting. And the one scene I'm thinking of, it's got so many great, I don't want to spoil. Final Fantasy X is a masterpiece that you should play. It's really easily accessible with the remaster and all, so I'd highly recommend looking into it. Now we're at Wild Arms 4, which is actually the soundtrack I'm listening to now. Here's the thing. When I finished Wild Arms 4, the main story, I said that Wild Arms 3 is my second favorite Wild Arms game. This was my third. I haven't done the post-game yet for Wild Arms 4. I'm actually in the middle of my second playthrough. Because Wild Arms 4, to fight Raga Regula, you need to do a second playthrough. So I'm actually in the middle of my second playthrough of Wild Arms 4, and I started doing the post-game for 5 first, because I'm playing through Wild Arms 4 again, then I'm just going to do the post-game in my second playthrough, because that's how you fight Ragu. I'm going to probably put this in S, because it's Wild Arms. I love Wild Arms. I'm putting this in S. It might be high A tier, or it's low S tier. I'm actually trying to think of what other games would go in S. Yeah, I'm confident in putting this in S, I think. I mean, I don't know. For now, we'll put it in low S. I might end up switching it down to A. Overall, Wild Arms 4 is great. I haven't done the post game yet, but I did the main story, so I have enough of an opinion on this game to talk about it. Story is not the best, but I think the story is good. It's got some interesting themes. It's probably one of the, not the weakest Wild Arms narrative. It's one of the weaker narratives. It's not as good as like 2 or 3's narrative, but it's a good narrative. I think the narrative is pretty good. It's also not that long. I feel like the one thing about Wild Arms 4 that I really like is that it doesn't overstay its welcome. So like, a decent story that doesn't take that long is honestly better in my mind. Like, the story knows it isn't super long. It doesn't try to be anything more than it is. I feel like the story, for what it is, gets its job done. I didn't really like how, like, the second half really got really cheesy, I feel. Like, they really harkened home the cliches of it. Like, they really harped on about children versus adults in the later half of the game. Again, I'm not spoiling anything big, but I'm talking about light spoilers. If you know, you know. I'm definitely keeping things under wraps, so you should still play the game yourself. Wild Arms 4 is still a great game. It's also, like, one of the most hated Wild Arms game. It definitely doesn't deserve the hate. Wild Arms 4 is one of the better Wild Arms games for sure. The combat is incredibly fun. I love the hex battle system. I love the different roles of the characters. It's even better than 3. Wild Arms 4, even though I still like everything else about it, Wild Arms 4 has the best combat in the Wild Arms franchise. Even better than 5, yes. We'll talk about 5 later. But, Wild Arms 4 has the best combat in all of the franchise. I am confident in saying that. Of the hex battle system and the different rules of the character. And yeah, the music is also really good. Probably not as good as 2 and 3, but still really good soundtrack wise. Wild Arms just has good music in general on average. Probably one of my favorite OSTs in all of gaming is the Wild Arms franchise. What else? The characters are great. I really like Jude, Arnaud, and Raquel. Yuli's kind of like, Yuli's good. She's not like as great as the other 3, but she's good enough. She's my least favorite, but I still like her. I like her enough. Jude, Arnaud, and Raquel are the 3 highlights, though. Mostly Arnaud and Raquel. Raquel especially. And the voice acting's pretty good. I wish there was more of it, but it was pretty good. Jude's voice acting, I talked about in the main story how in like emotional scenes it can be better, but overall the voice acting's pretty good for what there is. And the story has interesting themes of like it's like a war, and like they kind of talk about a failed experiment, which was pretty interesting. I did like when they talked about like how the people of CL like failed their experiment on arms, and like they're trying to repent or whatever, or everything like that. And the whole Congressional Knights and Brianac it's interesting. It's not as good as like Wild Arms 2 or 3's story and lore, but it's good enough, I think. Brianac could have been better villains, but they're serviceable, they're good enough. And the dungeons are really fun. The gameplay is really fun. I forgot to talk about this with Wild Arms 3. Wild Arms 3 has puzzles, and I love Wild Arms having puzzles. Wild Arms 4 probably has better dungeons than 3. I think gameplay-wise, 4 is better. Like, the gameplay's better in 4, the dungeons are more fun in 4. But Wild Arms 3 has the better story and narrative. Characters are about on par with each other. It's honestly really hard to pick between 3 and 4. I was confident in saying 3 was better, but maybe when I do the post-game for 4, I'll like 4 more. Although, I don't know. I think Wild Arms 3 and 4 are kind of interchangeable. I like both of them basically the same, because they have their pros and cons of each other. Regardless, they are number 2 and 3 Wild Arms game. I don't think the order really matters. I think they're kind of interchangeable. But again, haven't done the post-game for 4 yet, which I'll do hopefully soon. Overall, unfortunately, Wild Arms 4 is not super accessible. It is only on the PlayStation 2. We have not gotten the modern port, so I mean, I would still recommend playing the game, but it's a fun game. Hopefully you can like emulate PS2, or if you have a PS2 lying around, buy a physical copy. It's a fun game that I think people should try. It's really fun. It's underrated, not talked about enough. But yeah. Tales of Symphonia. I just saw this game. I don't know. I'm probably gonna put this in the A tier. Really, I need to ask myself, do I like Tales of Symphonia more than Wild Arms 4? And the answer to that is yes, I do. So I'm putting Wild Arms 4 on A tier, because I'm looking at this list, and I'm seeing that S tier needs to be... Yeah, there's another game here I'm going to put in S tier for sure. There's 2 more games I'm going to put in S tier. So, I think these 2 are A. I think Wild Arms 4 is going to A tier then. And I think I definitely like Symphonia more than Wild Arms 4. Not by much, surprisingly. Wild Arms 4 is probably a top 20 game, maybe. Because Wild Arms 3 isn't. It's so close to Wild Arms 3. It's probably close, Wild Arms 4 and Tales of Symphonia. But anyway, Tales of Symphonia. This was my first Tales game. This game got me into the Tales of franchise, so I owe it that much, but it's still a good game on its own. I really like the story. I like the lore of the Chosen. I like the worlds of Silverant and Tethe'ala. It's a really fun game. The gameplay is like not the best in Tales of, but for its time, I think it's really fun. It's kind of like Tales of Eternia was like the blueprint for Tales of, like what they knew they wanted to do, I feel like. And Tales of Symphonia just bumps that up a notch. It's basically like Eternia was like a blueprint for the franchise and for Symphonia, and Symphonia reused like the same concept, like spirits and the combat's similar. So Symphonia, like, they really knew what they were doing. They looked at Eternia and were like, all right, what can we change, you know? They were like, what can we change about this Tales of game? So they looked at Eternia and expanded on it, which was great. One thing I actually think I like about Eternia more, though, is I like Reed more as a protagonist than Lloyd, just a little bit. But Lloyd is still pretty good for what he is. The other characters are also really good. I like Rain. Genus is pretty cool. I like Colette, Sheena, Presea, Regal, Zelos, and Kratos. Kratos is my favorite Symphonia character. Symphonia has a great cast of characters. I really like them. I like their chemistry with each other. They got skits in the game. This is like the first traditional Tales of game with skits because they were cut from Eternia's American version and they were made into the hint system. So, unless Destiny 2 has skits, I'm not sure. This is the first traditional Tales game with skits. So, that's really fun. They made skits a staple, which was great. The music is really good. I like Symphonia's soundtrack a bit. It's not like the best in Tales of, but it's a good soundtrack. It's also one of my favorites. And the world is just really nice. I love the Silverant Tethe'ala world so much. The story is just good. Again, similar to Final Fantasy X, I'm gushing about this game. I cannot talk about it more without majorly spoiling it, which is not what I'm doing, but play Tales of Symphonia. Play it. It just got a remaster on Switch, PS4, PS5. It just got a remaster, so play it. It's great. It's even on Xbox, I think. So it's on like everything with the remaster, so I'd recommend giving it a try. It's a good entry point for Tales of. Not the best, but a good entry point nonetheless. I would recommend playing it. Final Fantasy 12 is a B tier game. Easily. That's like the quickest I've had to decide a game was B tier or a certain tier. Final Fantasy 12 is a weird one. I have things to say about it. I really like Final Fantasy 12, is my opinion. The story is not that great. It's not like terrible, but the story is like not great. It's a lot of political stuff. It's basically war. I don't think 12 has like the best villain. I'm not really Vayne is just kind of like who cares as a villain. The characters are also very hit or miss. Vaughn is a protagonist, but Vaughn should not even be the protagonist. Even though I understand what they were going for with Vaughn and Penelo, they were kind of added as protagonists or characters last minute. Vaughn especially. I think Vaughn was only made the protagonist to fit the FF stereotype, as you call it. But, they're not super relevant. Penelo especially suffers from this, but, I don't know. Vaughn's purpose, I think he serves it well enough. But, overall, they're like, fine. They're nothing special, not bad. I don't think they're terrible. They're just, like, not really relevant to the story. I really like Ashe. I think Ashe is a pretty good character. She's not, like, my favorite heroine in Final Fantasy. That goes to Garnet, probably. Or, no, it goes to Yuna. I like Yuna just a touch more than Garnet from Final Fantasy IX. Ashe isn't, like, the top waifu in Final Fantasy, but she's pretty good. Her storyline's nice. Bosch is pretty cool. Balthier. Oh, Balthier. If I will give this game one character, it's Balthier. Balthier is one of my favorite characters in all of Final Fantasy. He is amazing. I love Balthier. I love Balthier so much. Fran is pretty cool. The thing about Final Fantasy 12, it doesn't really focus on its characters besides Ashe and Bosch. It feels like Ashe and Bosch are like the main characters. And as much as I love Balthier, he doesn't get like a stupid amount of focus. He's just there to be awesome, charismatic, and funny. And I love Balthier's personality so much. And he gets a mini storyline. The villains are also who cares, other than Vayne. I also really like Larsa. Larsa's a good side character, even though the game could have had this interesting idea with Larsa and Penelo. That's all I'll say. If you know, you know. I'm not going to majorly spoil the game, but they could have had this interesting premise with them, and it just didn't. The gameplay is really fun. I like the gambit system a lot. It's honestly probably the best thing about Final Fantasy 12. The one thing lifting this game for me is the gambit system. I love the gambit system. I love the combat. I love the customization you get and the different armors. The job class is really cool. Now, I know what you're thinking. Nova, the job class wasn't... The job system, or the Zodiac job system wasn't in the PS2 version. I don't care. I know this is the PS2 tier list, but I'm talking about this game as if it's Zodiac Age because it's my list, and get over it, basically. Yeah. So I really like the job system and gambit system. It's really fun, and the gameplay is like the one thing lifting Final Fantasy 12 for me. And the music is also good. It's not Final Fantasy's best, but I think it's good. I like the music in this game, definitely. Overall, you could do no worse than Final Fantasy 12. It's not like the best game ever. It's not even the best Final Fantasy ever. It's like a mid-tier Final Fantasy game. I think the game gets... I don't think it gets too much unnecessary hate. The hate is justified, but I don't think it deserves hate at all. I think it's good for what it is. It's different. It's kind of a black sheep of the franchise. I think it's good enough. I think the game is good enough. It's not great. It's not going to wow anyone. I think the game is good enough. I personally like Final Fantasy 12. I don't love it, but I like it. It's a fun game, and it's available on modern consoles also with the Zodiac Age. So I'd recommend giving it a try if you're a Final Fantasy fan. Don't play it as your first Final Fantasy though. Play other ones first, but this one is worth your time, I think, if you like Final Fantasy. Grandia Extreme is one of the worst games I've ever played. Easy D tier. Story is whatever, the characters are whatever, the gameplay is frustrating. Not the gameplay itself. The combat system is fun because it's basically Grandia. But the dungeon exploration is terrible. Puzzles reset when you leave the dungeon. It's like a giant dungeon crawler, but the dungeon crawling element is boring and bland and terrible, and when you leave it like resets the puzzles. It has no patience for the player's time. And yeah, it's just a miserable mess. Go watch my 45 video playthrough where I abandoned the playthrough if you want to see why I hate this game so much. It's just terrible. It's not good. Not good. Tales of the Abyss. Dude. Similar to Wild Arms 3 and 4 being super close to each other in rankings, this game is super close to Tales of Symphonia in rankings, but I think I like Symphonia just a bit more. A tier. Tales of the Abyss is great. It's a really good Tales game. A lot of people's favorite Tales game, and for good reason. It's got a really good story. The stuff with Lorelei is really, really cool. The stuff with the God Generals. I think the God Generals are good villains. The characters in this game are great. I really like Luke as a protagonist. Tyr is one of the best girls in all of Tales of. Guy is cool. Guy's probably my favorite Tales of the Abyss character. I really like him. Natalia is cool. Annis I liked a lot more as I played the game. She's probably my least favorite, but I still really like her. And Jade is really cool and awesome and funny. So I love the characters in this game a lot. I love them a lot. The gameplay is also fun. It's a lot better than Symphonia. If this playthrough was if this tier list was based on combat, Tales of the Abyss would edge out Symphonia. But overall, I like Tales of the Abyss. The combat in it and the FOF arts are really cool. The music is also... The music's not, like, amazing in Tales of the Abyss. I think Symphonia has a better soundtrack, but Tales of the Abyss still has some good music, and it's really fun. Trying to think of what else. Can't really think of anything else to say, but overall, Tales of the Abyss is just phenomenal. I don't want to spoil it, but it's great. Some great moments, some great skits, some great characters, great story. Luke and Tyr are honestly one of my favorite couples in Tales of. I really like them as a pairing. Not as much as like Titus and Yuna or Justin and Fina from FF10 and Grandia respectively, but I still really like them a lot. So overall, Tales of the Abyss is a phenomenal game. It has a 3DS port. Hopefully it gets a modern port soon. I don't know if it will. I'm not sure if they'll do Graces and Zillia first, but if it gets a modern port, I need to play this game again. It's just that much fun. I love Tales of the Abyss. Okay. Tales of Destiny? So, you're probably like, Nova, you did the original Destiny. Now I'm doing the PS2 version. This is the director's cut version. I played on the channel once. The fan translation. B or C? B or C is what I'm thinking of. I'm talking about the game and then I'll decide. Tales of Destiny is... This is the better version. The story is still the same. It's still nonsense, I feel. The story of Tales of Destiny doesn't really change all that much. They do a little better with the characters because they have skits now, but nothing groundbreaking. They also make Johnny, Mary, Chelsea, and Hongman like mandatory characters now, so they kind of try to integrate them a little better, but they don't do like a fantastic job of it. But it's still better than the original. I do like the combat of this one. It's an evolved 2D. It also uses the CC system that Graces has, so this is like a precursor to Graces, so I owe it that much. It's not perfect, but I think the combat is a lot better in this one. It's actually pretty fun if you really learn it. It's got a kind of a steep learning curve, but if you take the time to learn it, I think the combat's really fun. And honestly, like, the main reason for this Tales of game, like, the main reason I enjoyed this one is because the combat system was fun. It also has a new leveling system. The sorting device is pretty cool. And the music is just a lot better. I don't have much to say about Destiny that wouldn't just copy the original. Like, most of what I'm going to say is going to copy the OG PS1 version, but the PS2 version is better. If you like the Tales of franchise, then play the fan patch of Tales of Destiny. I would highly recommend it. But yeah, overall, I really, I like this game. I don't, like, hate it. It's not one of my favorite Tales of games, but I enjoyed my time with it. I don't know if I'd play it again, but I enjoyed my time with it. It was a fun time. The story wasn't, but, the story and the characters were fine. The skits were a nice addition, but the combat was really fun. So I'd play it maybe for the combat, but that's about it. All right. I think I'm actually going to change the music, so this will be a fancy transition for YouTube as I change the music because I don't watch this Wild Arms 4 the whole time. But I'll be right back, and then we'll get to the rest of the games on this list. See you all then. Here we are with some Tales of Symphonia music for a little bit. Back with the tier list, we are with Star Ocean Till the End of Time, otherwise known as Star Ocean 3. This is a B tier game. I definitely like it more than Tales of Destiny. Question is, do I like it more than Final Fantasy 12? I haven't played this game since like my 2021 Redux playthrough. I don't know, dude. I like this game more. Yeah, I think I do like this game more than Final Fantasy 12. I'll put it above Final Fantasy 12. It definitely doesn't get any higher than the B tier because I don't love it as much as Symphonia, Abyss, or Wild Arms 4. But, yeah, Star Ocean 3 is a really good game. It was my favorite Star Ocean game until Divine Force came out. The story I'm very mixed on. I like certain parts of the story. The plot twist I don't, like, hate like a lot of other people do. But the plot twist definitely doesn't hit as hard as I think they wanted it to. It does kind of ruin things because Star Ocean 3 has the worst endings in all of gaming. I do not like the ending. The ending actually makes me... like, the ending actually almost affects my opinion of the game. The more I think about it. Again, I'm not going to spoil what happens, but if you know, you know. The story is, like, very mixed. I think it's fine overall, but it has some weak moments, and the second half, like, is good, but it could have been better, and again, the twist could have been better. Overall, I like, the story's, like, fine. It's okay. The characters are also very mixed. I like Fate as a protagonist. I don't think Fate gets enough love. He's nothing special. He's no Claude and Reyna. Because Claude and Reyna are better protagonists. The best protagonists are Raymond and Leticia from 6, though. Fate is probably third best protagonist. I think he's pretty good. He has some neat development throughout the game, and he has some neat moments and everything. Maria is also really good. Maria and Nell are two of the best waifus in all of Star Ocean. I think they're really good. I don't really care for Cliff. Mirage doesn't really get much screen time. Pepita's fine. Roger I don't really care for. Albel I just actively don't like. So, I mean, the characters are mixed. They got some good ones. Sophia, like, is fine, I guess. They don't do much with her. Overall, Star Ocean 3's characters are very mixed. Like, I cut them in half with a knife, and, like, I like half of them. The other half I'm kind of, like, either don't care for them or actively dislike. Albel I actively dislike. The others I just kind of don't care for all that much. The gameplay in this game is phenomenal. I like this game's gameplay. It's probably the second best gameplay-wise. I actually thought that The Last Hope had better gameplay, but my recent playthrough of Star Ocean The Last Hope, the combat's, like, still good enough, but I found myself preferring Till the End of Time when I was playing Last Hope again. I found myself preferring Till the End of Time's combat. I just like the way Fury works, and I like the way MP and HP works for skills. I know a lot of people don't like the MP system, but I actually do. I actually like how physical abilities take HP instead of MP, and I like how I like how that works. There's a lot of people who hate that system, but I don't see why. Like, I don't think it's that bad. I think it was really unique for the time. The skill system is also really good. It's not like Star Ocean 2's skill system, but I think the skill system is pretty good. Item creation has so much depth, as you expect with Star Ocean games. I actually have a lot of fun with the item creation in this game. This game probably has my favorite item creation in the series, even more than 6's, even though 6 is my favorite Star Ocean game. Overall, Star Ocean Till the End of Time is a really special game to me. I also owe it a lot because my playthrough is very popular. There's a lot of people who find me through this playthrough and watch this playthrough and they're like, oh, hey, you're a great content creator, or your playthrough's great. Actually, 2 days ago, I had someone comment like, oh, this encouraged me to watch your other stuff, and I was really grateful for it. So, I'll always be grateful for this game for that. Maybe I'll end up doing another playthrough. If people want to see me do another playthrough, let me know, because this playthrough was really popular. I kind of don't want to overshadow that playthrough, but if people want to see me play the game again, then I'll play the game again. Music is also really good. It's Motoi Sakuraba. He does a great job with the music. Probably one of the best in Star Ocean, for sure. And again, like, the story, like, it has its weak moments. Where this game falls flat is the story, and the characters aren't, like, amazing or anything, but the characters I like, Fate, Maria, and Nell, I really like. Fate, I like. Maria and Nell, I love. But yeah. Overall, a fun game. Star Ocean Till the End of Time is available on PlayStation 4. It's mostly on PlayStation. If you have a PlayStation, you can play this game. If you have, like, a Switch or something, you can't, but, you know, hopefully they remake it. I think they said if Star Ocean 2 sells well, they'll make a remake of Star Ocean 3, so I'd be down for that, honestly. I would love an excuse to play this game again. But yeah, Star Ocean 3, good game. Would recommend if you like JRPGs. Grandia 3. I really don't like this game. I really don't. But... wait, can I? Dude. Grandia Extreme gets its own tier. I can do this, dude. Fantastic. Favorites right here. These are games that would definitely make it in like a top 20 list. These are good. No. Good games. And then this is mediocre. I should have done this for the PS1 list. I didn't realize I can do this. Mediocre, bad. It looks bad. Yeah. Wait, just say bad. Bad. Bad games. Bad games, favorites, good. These are amazing. Honestly, these games will probably make it in my top 22. I don't know. Yeah. S tier, let's just say fantastic. It's S tier. You get the gist. You get the gist. Alright, perfect. I should have done that for the PS1 list. Grandia Extreme gets its own tier. There is not another game I'm putting in this tier. Grandia 3 is a bad game. I don't think Grandia 3 is good. It's better than Grandia Extreme. When I played Grandia Extreme, I'm like, wow, I can't imagine this game being any worse than Grandia 3. And it was. Now, I never even finished Grandia Extreme, but the fact that I never even finished Grandia Extreme shows how bad it is. I could not have any more patience for that game. Grandia 3 isn't much better, though. I think the story is fine enough for the first half, and then the second half, it goes off the rails. Not even the second half. Like, 30% through the game, it goes off the rails. Like, 2 party members leave your party. If you played the game before, you know who they are. When they leave the party, the story just goes off the rails. It starts off like promising, but then it just doesn't go anywhere, and it turns into a cliche hot mess. The writing is terrible. Yuki as a protagonist is like fine, better than Evan. He's likable, I guess, but he's not enough to carry the game. I do not like Alfina at all. I despise her. The heroine of the game is terrible. And then the other characters are like, who cares? Ulf and Donna are just there, to be your other party members. I'm just gonna say their names, it's not a big spoiler. Miranda and Alonzo had promised. They made me think like, wow, the game might actually be like decent, but nah, they leave like 10 hours in and it's just like, oh my word, like, the game gets worse. Save yourself the time and don't play the game. Like, the first 10 hours are promising and then it just gets like off the rails. The combat's fun. It is definitely one of the harder Grandia games, and the combat's really good. I said this with Extreme, how the base combat was still Grandia, it was fun. Grandia 3, like, has fun combat. It's probably the only saving grace, and it's not a dungeon crawler, it's a traditional Grandia game, so if you were gonna play one of these Grandia games for gameplay, play 3. Grandia Extreme, like, even if the combat's, like, fun, it's not good enough to warrant the rest of the game. Grandia 3, like, at least you can play it and enjoy the combat. You'll at least get enjoyment of the combat. Because I think the combat's genuinely really fun, and the music is pretty good. It's not as good as I remember, but I think it's really good. I probably should replay this game to, like, reaffirm my opinion on it. I still think the game sucks, but yeah, maybe I'll play the game again to see, but I don't know. Definitely not anytime soon. Honestly, I'm gonna end up replaying Grandia 1 and 2 again soon, because Grandia 1 I have the hard mode patch, and Grandia 2 is just a phenomenal game. The story is not good, especially after the first 10 hours. The thing is, it doesn't really elevate, because the first 10 hours are, like, not even good. They're promising. They have you excited for the rest of the game, but then when Miranda and Alonzo leave, it's just like the game goes into, like, cliche, generic, and some terrible writing, so it's not good. The combat's fun. That's, like, the only saving grace, and the music's also somewhat of a saving grace. It's also not very long, though. Probably about the length of Grandia 2, maybe a little longer, I'm not sure. But, Grandia 2 is a much better game. Play Grandia 2. There's no reason to play Grandia 3 when Grandia 1 and 2 exist. Like, it's a bad game. It's still a bad game. It's above Grandia Extreme, but that's not saying much, because this game is hot trash. Hot trash. Anyway, Grandia 3, not a good game. Not a good game. I'm not even going to say there's worse games in it. Grandia Extreme's worse in it, but still, not a good game, not worth your time. Persona 3. Persona 3. This is a good game. I like it more than Tales of Destiny. Do I like it more? Yeah, I think I like it more than Final Fantasy 12? Yeah. I like it more than Final Fantasy 12. I don't think I like it as much as Star Ocean 3. It's honestly kind of close. I'll just put it here for now. Maybe I'll end up switching it. Now, Persona 3 FES is for PS2. I'm going to talk about Persona 3 that I played, which is portable, and you're probably like, Nova, it's a PSP game. It's my list. Persona 3 was originally a PS2 game. It's not going to suddenly change the list or anything, so. Persona 3 is good. I played it for the first time, finished it for the first time with portable. I enjoyed my time with it. I think the story was pretty good, honestly. Actually, you know what? As soon as I say I thought the story was pretty good, I'm switching this. Because Star Ocean 3 does not have a story. It has a decent story. I think Persona 3's story is, like, not amazing. I think it's good, though. I really like the concept of full moons. I like the concept of the shadows, the different arcanas. I like how the arcanas are, like, part of the story. That's a really cool setup, I think. The arcana is the means by which all is revealed, by the way. I really like that angle. I think the characters are pretty good. I don't think the characters are amazing. They kind of fall flat with the characters. Like, I think Akihiko and Mitsuru are really good. And Aigis. I love Mitsuru, Aigis, and Akihiko of the cast. Junpei grew on me as the game went on. Yukari also grew on me. Like, I thought they were pretty good. They weren't, like, amazing, but good. I didn't really like Ken all that much. They didn't really do much with him, and I just didn't really like him. Koromaru is the best character, obviously. Who else am I missing? Fuka they didn't really do much with. She's just kind of there, too. So, I mean, like, it's kind of like Star Ocean 3, except the characters I like in this game, I like more than the ones I like in 3, you know? Like, Persona 3 just has a better story in general, so, than Star Ocean 3. So, like, I really like Mitsuru, Akihiko, and Aigis, similar to how I really like Fate, Maria, and Nell. But the story in Persona 3 is better, which makes me like it as a game more. The combat's also fun. You know, Persona has good combat. It's not, like, as good as Persona 5, obviously, but I think the combat's really fun, and, switching personas, and I think the classic turn-based is good. What I like about Persona 3 is, the main character can, like, apparently in FES, he can, like, use different weapons. Now, you're probably wondering, Nova, what's the definitive version of Persona 3? There isn't one. Because I haven't finished FES, but FES you cannot control your party members, but it also has you explore the overworld. I played Portable, which was a visual novel-esque. It didn't have me roam around areas outside of Tartarus, so that kind of sucked. But it let me control my characters. And it has the female route. I should probably play the female route at some point of Persona 3 to get a to reaffirm my opinion and also get my platinum trophy. Something in my throat. Get my platinum trophy. But what was I gonna say? Persona 3 is good. The music is also really good. I really like the soundtrack of the game. Not as much as 5 or maybe even 4, but Persona music is really, really good. And I really like the story. Again, the story setup is good. I think the pacing is weird sometimes. I think where they fall flat with the pacing is like not having social links for your male characters. I feel like that was a mistake. The social links they kind of dropped the ball on, but again, they were learning. This was like the first Persona game in this style. So they got better in Persona 4 and Persona 5, so that's really what matters. That's where Persona 3 falls flat. It's not like an amazing game, but I have fun with it overall. I'll play it again because I want to do the female route. If I do that on the channel or not, let me know if you want to see that. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you want to see me do the female route. It wouldn't be anytime soon, but I'm going to replay Persona 5 first. That's the next Persona thing I'm going to do. Replaying Royal. Maybe in like the coming months or something. But yeah, Persona 3, good game. Portable got a port. Also, Reload's coming out, so maybe play Reload. I don't know if I'm playing Reload yet, or maybe I'll wait a bit. I'm not sure. But, you know, Persona 3, good game. Good game. Persona 4 Golden. This game gets an amazing for one reason, and that is the characters. I cannot stress enough how much I love the investigation team as characters. It's honestly the one heavy lifting thing about Persona 4 Golden. If I were to give Persona 4 Golden one thing, it's not the only good thing about it. If I were to give it one thing, it's got one of the best cast of characters in gaming. Like, on the par with my opinion of the characters of, like, Tales of Graces, Tales of Berseria, Final Fantasy X, Grandia 2, Wild Arms 3, Wild Arms 4, etc. Like, one of the best cast of characters in gaming is in Persona 4 Golden. And the game isn't even in, like, a top 20 game. It's not even a top 20 game for me, but the cast is just that good. I really like the investigation team. I like Yosuke. Yosuke is my favorite. Yosuke, Yukiko, Rise, Chie, who am I missing? Kanji, Naoto. They're all so good. Even Marie. I don't know why people hate Marie so much. I like Marie. I think she's pretty good. The story is weird. I think the story's like fine enough. But I do think the my music stopped? Oh, it must have stopped. Let's try something else. Sorry about this. But I can talk about it while I do this. I really like the characters of a Persona. No, don't give me an ad. Don't give me an ad. Don't copy. I really like the characters of Persona 4 Golden. The story is like not amazing, but I think it's good enough. I like the whole murder mystery. I think they dropped the ball with the story later. I'm not going to spoil it because, especially with Persona 4, you don't want spoilers. But overall, Persona 4 Golden's story is like fine. It's really the characters that uplift it. The characters are fun, so I never really mind that the story's not like killing it or anything. The social links are also really good. They're improved from Persona 3. The gameplay is like Persona 3. It's pretty fun, nothing spectacular. The dungeons are randomly generated. I forgot to talk about this with Persona 3, but Tartarus gets really repetitive because it's just randomly generated floors. Persona 4 Golden is similar. The dungeon crawling aspect isn't that fun, but it's not terrible. It's definitely playable. Really, the more I think about Persona 4 Golden, I'm like, yeah, the game is good, but it's really the characters that elevate this for me. I love Inaba. I love the characters. Even some of the side characters are good. It's got flaws, but Persona 4 Golden is phenomenal for the cast of characters alone. This game recently got a port to Switch, PS4, PS5. I would highly recommend giving it a try. And yeah, Persona 4 Golden. Great game. Great game. Amazing even. Wild Arms 5. This game is going in good, definitely. This game. Do I like this game more than Persona 3? I don't know. I'm gonna put it right here, maybe. Wild Arms 5 I'm gonna put behind Persona 3. Above Star Ocean 3, but below Persona 3. Wild Arms 5 is my least favorite Wild Arms game. I don't think it's bad. I think it's good. It's got some problems, though. Let's talk about what I like about Wild Arms 5. The combat is fun. It's not as good as 4. Notice how I said 4 was the best combat in the series? I meant that. They both have Hex battle system, and you would think 5 improves on 4, and in some aspects it does. But I don't like the medium system in Wild Arms 5 all that much. I've gushed about it in like the last hours of the game a lot. And the bosses just become very formulaic, and they're really long too. So I think the combat in 4 is better for those reasons. What I like about Wild Arms 5 is I think the cast is pretty good. Dean is a good enough protagonist. I think Rebecca's fine. A lot of people hate Rebecca. I don't hate her, but I think she's fine. I don't really like Carol. Carol I don't really like all that much. Chuck is just kind of there. I wish Chuck had more relevance. Greg is cool. Avril's really good. She's my favorite. The characters are good. They're not amazing, but they're good enough. The only ones I really don't like are Carol. Carol's like the only one I don't like, and Chuck's just... I like Chuck, but I don't really love Chuck. Chuck's just kind of there. I'll admit he should have had more relevance. But overall, Carol is my least favorite for sure. Overall though, the characters are they're good. They're not outstanding as other Wild Arms games or other JRPGs in general, but they're good enough. I think the story has interesting lore and setup. It is really slow. Like, egregiously slow. Like, you don't get to the interesting parts of the story till really late in the game. Like, the game is really slow. Like, they got some nice lore and stuff with Filgaia, and like the stuff with the Baskars is really cool, and Johnny Appleseed. I won't spoil the whole Johnny Appleseed thing. It's really good. I feel like the second half of the game is rushed though. Like, I feel like the stuff they wanted to make it feels like they wanted to make a game and they were building up for this big twist. It feels like they kind of rushed the end though. Like, it feels like they had to run out of time or resources and couldn't really do much about the second half. Like, they kind of rushed through like a checklist, like, all right, we gotta do this, we gotta do this. The second half of the game feels really brief and really rushed and doesn't feel fleshed out at all. So it's really unfortunate. Overall, what I like about Wild Arms 5, I like the world. The world is really fun to explore. It probably has the best Wild Arms world to explore. Filgaia is really nice to explore. The Mana Wheel's fun. You don't have to use the search system to find areas, just treasures. And the combat is pretty fun. I actually kind of like upgrading arms with dragon fossils. Like, it's got its fun moments. I feel like Wild Arms 5 kind of overstates its welcome. The game isn't even that long, but it feels so long when dungeons start to drag and bosses start to drag. It kind of feels like it overstates its welcome at the very end, despite the story part feeling rushed. So, like, I feel like Wild Arms 5, it's kind of a case of, like, it's similar to Arc the Lad 3, where, like, I like Arc the Lad 3, but it overstayed its welcome. Wild Arms 5 kind of overstays its welcome a little bit, and the game isn't even that long, but the long dungeons and long bosses kind of make it feel like it overstays a bit. Overall, though, I still like Wild Arms 5. It's still a good game. But it's my least favorite Wild Arms game, easily. But it's still a good game. It wouldn't be in the good games category otherwise. But yeah. That's like all I have to say on Wild Arms 5. The music is also good, because it's Wild Arms. Wild Arms always has good music. But yeah. So, you know, watch my playthrough and my review if you want to see more about that game, because I did just finish it. Kingdom Hearts is going in good. Good? Yeah, good. Right there. That's good for Kingdom Hearts. I like the original Kingdom Hearts. It's really nice. It's got nice charm. I got into Kingdom Hearts relatively late. I really like the first Kingdom Hearts though. Really nice charm. Really nice. It's got charm. Nice Disney worlds. Nice use of worlds. The exploration in Kingdom Hearts is also really good. Honestly, I probably should play these games for the channel at some point. Maybe I'll play the original Kingdom Hearts this year on the channel. If people want to see that. Like, I like the games, don't get me wrong, but it really depends if people want to see it. They're not games I feel like I have to play unless people request them. But trust me, I'll play them. If people really want to see me play Kingdom Hearts, I'll play the Kingdom Hearts series on the channel. Like, I played them like 2 years ago, all of them, and they were fun. Kingdom Hearts 1 is really fun. I like the combat. The combat's like kind of basic in the first one, but its action combat's pretty fun. It gets better in the later iterations. And again, Kingdom Hearts 1 is kind of a build-up game. Like, it has a story. It's not like Trails, right? It's not like Trails FC or Cold Steel 1, where it has no story. It's a pretty short game and it has a story, but at the end of the day, what makes me like Kingdom Hearts more is it builds up on the other games. Like, Kingdom Hearts 1 is a build-up for the other games, even though it has its own story. And the story is kind of simplistic anyway, but I think that's what's great about it. It's a really simple game. It's got Disney and Final Fantasy cross, and I think for that, it's got a legacy. Like, I'm not like a die-hard Kingdom Hearts fan, but I like Kingdom Hearts. It was a good series when I played it. But overall, Kingdom Hearts 1 is fun. I don't really have much to say on it. The music's also really good. But very accessible game. I think it's on PlayStation and Xbox. I don't think they're on Switch, but they're on PlayStation and Xbox. I recommend them. Kingdom Hearts 2 is going in amazing. Probably right here. Parallels the first Kingdom Hearts. It's kind of funny. Kingdom Hearts 2 is just better in every way. The combat's a lot more fun, a lot more flashy. It's got some great characters. It also introduces us to Organization 13, which is really cool. I think they're pretty mysterious villains, and they're really, really cool. They're cool thematically. I like them a lot. Say what you will about how convoluted this game is and the rest of the series is, but I like it. I like Kingdom Hearts 2. I think Kingdom Hearts 2 is my favorite. I haven't thought of my favorite Kingdom Hearts game. It's either Kingdom Hearts 2 or... No, it definitely is Kingdom Hearts 2. Yeah, I definitely like Kingdom Hearts 2 the most. I really gotta play it again. But, the combat's really fun. The characters are good. The Disney worlds are also really good. I like the worlds in Kingdom Hearts 2. I like, I'm a big fan of Mulan, so I like the world of Mulan in Kingdom Hearts 2. I feel like 1's worlds are, like, good, but 2 has a lot of the standout worlds. Like, I really like Mulan. What else does Kingdom Hearts 2 have world-wise? Has another one I really like. Oh, Nightmare Before Christmas is a really good one. I really like that movie. I really like Mulan, as I just said. I'm trying to think of the other worlds they have. It has Atlantica, which I'm not a fan of that world. I got nothing against The Little Mermaid, but I'm not really a fan of that world all that much. Also, the final cutscenes of Kingdom Hearts 2 are great. I like the way it goes. I'm not going to spoil anything. And the way it does Riku and a little bit of Kairi, but mostly Riku is so, so good. And the stuff with Organization 13. Play the game. Play the game. Kingdom Hearts 2 is great. I have not played it in like 2 to 3 years. I should probably pick it up again. But again, if you want to see me do Kingdom Hearts on the channel, let me know. I would do all the games. I'll binge them. I'll do like Kingdom Hearts 1. I don't like Chain of Memories very much, so I probably wouldn't do Chain of Memories. But I do Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2. I do Birth by Sleep. And probably Dream Drop Distance as well. And then 3. So, I mean, if you want to see them, let me know. I would be glad to do them. Or maybe I'll do them for a certain amount of subs or something, because I'm doing a thing where, like, if people sub or pay money or something and want to see a game, or a lot of people want to see a game, like people second it and stuff, I'll do it. So, yeah, Kingdom Hearts is a game I would revisit. Maybe on my own terms eventually, wouldn't be anytime soon. Maybe this year, who knows? Anything can happen with this year. Grandia 2 is going in S tier, above Wild Arms 3, probably even above Final Fantasy X, to be honest with you. I really love Grandia 2. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Grandia 1 and 2 are masterpieces. Grandia 2 is a masterpiece all its own. I really like the story. The story's like nothing super amazing, but I love the whole battle of good and evil. I love the whole Valmar versus Granis thing. It's super cool. Grandia 2's got some great lore. Ryudo is like one of, if not my favorite protagonist in all of gaming. I also like the other characters like Elena, Millennia, Marig, Rowan, and Tio. I like them as characters a lot. The writing is also really good. I really like the lore, as I just said. The story's good. Play the game, it's so good. Also, I really like Grandia 2's villain. Like, a lot more than I remember. I really like the villain of Grandia 2, and I like the way I like the plot twist in it. I'm not gonna spoil it, but there's a big plot twist I really, really like. Honestly, like, Grandia 1 and 2 are both good games. The one thing, like, I really like Grandia 2's villain more than Grandia 1. And again, I like Rito as a protagonist more than Justin, but I still like Justin. But yeah, Grandia 2 is phenomenal. It's also not super long, and I feel like Grandia 2 is one of the cases where, like, I don't complain that the game is too short. I feel like the game knows it's short and doesn't stretch. Similar to Wild Arms 4, except the story is much, much better. But, Grandia 2 is fantastic. Fantastic. We're playing this game soon. We're playing Grandia 1 and 2 on the channel back to back. I'm gonna do the Redux patch, the hard mode for 1, and then I'm playing Grandia 2 immediately after, because I love this game. I adore it. The PS2 version was my first experience with the game, and that version is not the best, but it is technically a PS2 game because it got a port, so I count it. But overall, I'm glad I did, because it's probably going to stay at the top of this list. Grandia 2 is the top of this list. It's honestly kind of close to Final Fantasy X. Like, they are at the top of the list. I had to think about it for a second, but I think Grandia 2 I'll keep at the top. I adore it. Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne. Oh, the music in Grandia 2 is also good. Forgot to mention that. I love the music of Grandia 2, and some of the voice acting is nice. Play this game. Play this game. Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, I will put in the good games section. Probably above Kingdom Hearts. Maybe even above Tales of Destiny and Final Fantasy 12, but not above Star Ocean 3. I really like Nocturne. I gotta play it again. I gotta do another route. I did Chiaka's route, which was like the strong over the weak or whatever, and I really enjoyed it. I like the ideologies. SMT is really good with its lore and its ideologies. I really enjoy it. And the music is also pretty good. Not as good as Persona, but I really enjoy it. Again, can't say much on the story, but Shin Megami Tensei doesn't have the best like story, but the snap. Trying to think. The ideologies and the story and the lore is really good, so I really enjoy that in Shin Megami Tensei, and the demons are really cool. And the combat is fun. Again, Shin Megami Tensei is gameplay focused, so what I love about Shin Megami Tensei, I like having Shin Megami Tensei and Persona as games to play, because Persona has the characters and story. I like Persona games more for that reason, but Shin Megami Tensei games are a ton of fun. I gotta play Nocturne again. I kind of want to play 5 again too, but I honestly might do a redux of Nocturne. If people want to see that, let me know. Maybe I'll do a redux of Nocturne at some point, do another route. I know Raptor would love that. He loves Shin Megami Tensei. Overall, Nocturne's a good game. Brutal. It's SMT though. Really fun game. This game got a remaster on PlayStation and Switch. I don't think it got Xbox, but it's Switch and PlayStation. I'd recommend giving it a try. It's really fun. Final Fantasy X-2 is right here. I tie it with Final Fantasy X. Like, I cannot choose between these games. Final Fantasy X's story is unrivaled. This gameplay is unrivaled. I love the job system. I love ATB more than turn-based, even though 10's gameplay is fun. The story for what it is also good. I know 10-2, a lot of people don't like the story, but I love Yuna's development from the previous game. I also love the stuff with Den of Woes and the stuff with Vegnagun. The story's really good in Final Fantasy X-2. It's not as good as 10, but I think the story's pretty good. Yuna, Riku, and Pain are also really good as a group. I do feel like they kind of... I never think about this much, but they made Riku worse in this game. Like, I like Riku less in 10-2 than I do in 10. Like, I love her in 10, but in 10-2, I kind of like her less. She's not, like, bad, but she has her moments. I never think about that much, but it's not enough to ruin the game. I still love 10-2. It gets way, way too much unnecessary hate. I talked about Wild Arms 4 getting unnecessary hate and FF12 getting some of it, but FF10-2 is by far the biggest, like, proponent of this. It gets the most unnecessary hate. Like, I have not seen hate for a game more than Final Fantasy X-2. It is astounding. Actually astounding. It gets so much unnecessary hate. But overall, I love Final Fantasy X-2. And I think people hating on it are hating on it for the wrong reasons. I'm not going to talk about it too much. Go watch my playthrough, watch my review if you want to see everything about it, but all the controversy. But overall, Final Fantasy X-2 is phenomenal. Its music is also really good. I also love the non-linearity of Spira. The one thing I think X-2 falls short in is 100%ing it. And most of the good scenes and good parts of FF10-2 are locked behind 100% completion or certain completion. It can be really hard to get the gist of the story. So I absolutely would not blame anyone for saying, like, hey, I don't love Final Fantasy X-2 as much as you, but I didn't 100% the game. I wouldn't blame them, because I feel like what makes me love X-2 is knowing everything about it and basically seeing everything in it, which it's hard to 100% if you're not using a guide. So I can honestly see people being like, oh yeah, I don't see what you see in this game with that reason. So, you know, I can understand that. The 100% completion thing is a little whack, and overall, it's got some moments in it, like the massage minigame and a certain scene with Riku, but overall, X-2 is phenomenal. Way too much unnecessary hate. It's my second favorite Final Fantasy game, along with 10. And I'm gonna die on that hill. If people want to come at me, they can. I don't care. I'm gonna embrace my love for this game because I love Final Fantasy X-2. Similar to 10, it's bundled with 10 as the remaster. Yeah, finally, Dragon Quest VIII. Amazing. I'm actually gonna put this above Persona 4 Golden. Love this game. Love Dragon Quest VIII. I haven't played it in a while. I played the 3DS version 3 years ago on the channel. I love the characters. I love Angelo and Jessica. Angelo and Jessica are two of my favorite characters in all of Dragon Quest. Yangus is also cool. I don't like hate him. I don't love him. I like him. He's cool. Yangus is cool. Gameplay is your standard Dragon Quest. I like the skill tree system. Exploring the world in Dragon Quest VIII is also really fun. It's got really fun world map. Probably one of the best of its time. It's a really, really good world map. The music is also really good. I like the story too. The story's not like groundbreaker or anything, but chasing Domagus and everything, and the stuff with Raptorn is really, really cool. Honestly, I think the story's better than 11. Based on story alone, I think the story is better than 11. I like 11 more as a game, but Dragon Quest VIII's story probably beats out 11 for me. And you're probably like, Nova, they're both silent protagonists, but honestly, I think they do better with the protagonist of Dragon Quest VIII than they do 11. He's still silent, sure, but they do better with him and Medea's relationship and having his facial expressions. He has more expressions than the Luminary, so I honestly feel like they do better in the story department in this game than 11. Not to say 11's story is bad. I like it for what it is, but you know, I think 8 does better with the story. And plus, 11 has all the other characters I love, like Sylvando, Eric, Jade, to name a few. But we're not talking about 11, we're talking about 8. I just had to talk about that comparison. Dragon Quest 8 is fun. I really enjoy it. I hope they give us a port so I can replay it sometime, but it's only on PS2 and 3DS. The 3DS version is the best version because it lets you marry Best Girl. There's nothing better than that. But overall, Dragon Quest 8 is a fun time. I gotta play it again. But here we are with this tier list. So we have Grandia 2. Oh, let me say the tiers first. We have the S tier, which are the fantastic games. Definitely, like, I don't know about Wild Arms 3, but top 10? I'll say top 10. These three are definitely in top 10. I don't know if Wild Arms 3 would make that cut. It might be close. We have the S tier games, which are Grandia 2, Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy X-2, and Wild Arms 3. And then we have the amazing games, which they're not in a top 10, but they're definitely... Well, actually, these three wouldn't be a top 20. These three wouldn't be a top 20. These three would be. But, amazing games are Tales of Symphonia, Tales of the Abyss, Wild Arms 4, Dragon Quest 8, Persona 4 Golden, and Kingdom Hearts 2. And then we have the good games, which are, like, solid entries. Persona 3 FES, Portable, whatever version, Wild Arms 5, Star Ocean Till the End of Time, Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, Final Fantasy XII, Tales of Destiny Director's Cut, Kingdom Hearts 1, Bad Games, Just Grandia 3, and then we have the special hot trash tier, which is Grandia Extreme, as you can see here. But yeah, another tier list done. Fun video to make. I'm not sure what console I'm going to do next. I gotta kind of see if I can do a PS3 list, and if I do a PS3 list, I gotta like maybe combine some Xbox games or something. I don't know. I'll do another tier list. These are really fun to make, and again, as I play more, because I know for PS2, I'm definitely gonna play Twilight of the Spirits, which is a PS2 game, maybe some others, so I'll probably update this as we go. So, yeah, I really hope you enjoyed me making this list, because I enjoyed making it a lot, and I'll be back with other lists at some point. Definitely, this is the first one of 2024, so here's to a great year where I do lots of good playthroughs and lots of tier lists. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you all for watching. See you all next time.